What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. We're back today with another episode recapping Game 3 of the World Series between the Yankees and the Dodgers. As a Yankee fan, not a whole lot to really. I'm going to break it down. We're going to talk about it. It's just, I don't even know. Last night watching the game, I'm going to open the C4 real quick. I have never seen a team get to the World Series and just act like they don't want to be there. Literally. I've never seen a team make it all the way to the World Series and then act like they could give a fuck if they were there or if they were playing against the White Sox in the middle of June. God, I mean, it's a sad sight to see. I mean, from the get-go, you could just feel, and this is me watching, I'm not even there. I'm sure like you can feel vibes in a stadium 100%. But I could feel that New York didn't have it the minute the game started. Like it just didn't. You just didn't feel it. It just was just like there's no energy coming from that side of the field. Dugout, the field. I mean, it looked flat. And you got people saying, before we break down the game itself, like I had a couple theories. I wrote a couple things down. You know, and people are going to say, well, they didn't just coast through the playoffs. You still had to play playoff games. Okay, but let's really talk about this. And this was my thought process. Number one, the Yankees play a certain style of baseball that's not the most fundamental side of things. You can tell, like a lot of these hitters, there's no two-strike approach for most. There's no plate discipline. It's I'm trying to hit an absolute mammo bomb or nothing, or forget it. Nothing else is happening. And that's the kind of game they play. Well, you can't play that kind of ball when you're down 2-0 in a series, when you're down 2-0 in the first fucking inning. Like, you've got to change the approach. There's no approach change. And the thing is, like, sure, every team has a different style of play. Look at the Guardians played a little bit more old school baseball, a little scrappy ball. The Kansas City kind of plays like a hybrid version of like this new version of baseball, like the Yankees are playing, and the old school version of baseball. But the Yankees have played like this all year long. They played like this all year long, though the difference is they were hitting the ball back when they could do it. And it wasn't frowned upon because, well, they're producing runs because they can slug. And that's what they do. This lineup is meant to be a slugging baseball team, which they've done zero in this World Series. And if we're being 100% honest, they didn't really impress in the ALCS either. And there was too many pieces now that I go back and look at it that they could have literally lost to Kansas City in the first round. In the second round in the division series. So I'm sitting here going, are we really surprised? As a Yankee fan, I'd like to say yes. I'd like to say that I expected more from them coming into this series. But at the same time, you look at the trends, you look at the stats, you look at like the past, couple months. It's like, I mean, am I an idiot for being surprised? Like, I don't know, but good. It's really good. But I look back and last night I was watching the game. I was sitting there thinking, like, have the Yankees really faced a challenge like this? Honestly, and if we look at it through and through, look at their path here. They got to buy the first round, didn't play a wild card. Sure, they won the division, but there was no challenge in Kansas City. Like I said the other day, they had talent sprinkled through between Bobby Witt Jr., a couple other guys, Salvador Perez, guys here and there. I mean, but nothing to where you're like, damn, like, again, not a strong ball club. Decent ball club, had some pieces here and there. Promise a young team. They can probably be something in the next 2-3 years. But they weren't going to go very far this year. They just didn't have all the pieces they needed. They had a great pitching staff between, Singer and Lugo and all those guys. But again, offensively, power-wise, not a whole lot. You look at the Guardians, who played really, really bad. Like, the first two games of that series looked like this almost. It was bad. It wasn't good. It's not a challenge. They didn't even have to try. Like, the Yankees are going to power through teams like that because they make pitching mistakes and they can't put things together offensively like the Yankees should be able to, which unfortunately the Yankees did at big points against the Guardians. But again, that style of play doesn't play well against this team. Now, the next challenge. And I'm sitting here going, I'm looking at pitcher for pitcher, batter to batter. And I'm a Yankee fan. I say this all the time, so maybe I'm a little biased at some points, but I try to give my honest opinion, honest takes from a baseball fan standpoint. Going into the series, I really thought, okay, starting pitching is a Yankees strength. That's a strength because the Dodgers have maybe 3 and they have a bullpen game every time, and then they go back to Flaherty at the top. But the bullpen, I didn't realize like they got Vesia back, they got Gratterall back, they got Hudson, all these guys, Brazier, Kasperius, like all those guys put up against our bullpen, the Yankee bullpen. It really is a night and it's not even close. You got Leiter Jr. going against Gratterall, Cortez against Vesia, Cousins, Hudson, Banda, Hill, Holmes, Brazier, Kopech, Canley. Different caliber pitcher, man, just not the same. And like I thought, like, well, maybe that could be an advantage, but it hasn't paid off as one, especially when Clark Schmidt goes 2 2/3 and didn't have it from the get, man. He just didn't. The minute he started the game, he didn't look like he had it. First inning home run to Freddie Freeman with a ball down the middle, missing a lot, 4 walks, only 3 strikeouts. It's like, dude, that's a terrible line for the World Series. Like, you got to come better than that. Mentally prepared, do what you got to do. Like, this is the biggest game of your life so far. And that's the performance you turned in. And I mean, Rushton back hasn't been here for most of the season. It's tough. It's a really tough look, you know. But in all honesty, I sat back again last night talking to a buddy of mine, and you know, let's just say that the Dodgers were fully healthy, in the lineup, in the pitching rotation. This wouldn't be a fucking series. And you stopped and realized, like, and maybe too far, maybe not that big a deal as I'm making it out to seem, but like, you know, this team is a team you can tell was built with depth, with true depth. You look at the money, put the money aside. Let's just say that both sides have money because the Yankees, and this is what's stupid. This is what pisses me off. The Yankees and Jack Flaherty had a deal. They were dead, ready to go. He was going to be a Yankee. The Yankees needed the pitching, and clearly Brian Cashman knew he needed the pitching because he was ready to go in on Flaherty. Something happened with medical or something. Nothing was ever truly disclosed. There was something wrong with the physical he got back. Yankees were bothered by something, and the deal fell through. He ends up going to the Dodgers, and look at what happens. The dude's, and we passed on that. We made no deals at the deadline except for a couple C to B plus pitchers and Mark Leiter Jr., and I think a couple other guys. But like at that point, man, like you this is what you trade for at the deadline when you have a run. Especially with the Yankees who had a decent look at like, hey, we're gonna make it to the fall classic, we're gonna make it to the big dance. We should prep something. And they didn't. And that's where this is like coming back to bite you in the ass, even in the lineup. But this is the same team we started with, and the same team we're here with like 4 extra pieces, maybe. So I'm like, the Dodgers took the time to say, okay, we got depth. If something happens here, like their infield, you know, with Tommy Edman able to go to second, or yeah, he goes to second, goes to short, goes to the outfield. Mookie Betts comes to short, goes to the outfield. Play like that is depth. You got guys on the Yankees who are one trick ponies and they can't do anything else. Like you got Oswaldo who can do it, Birdie can kind of do it a little bit, but like not like a lot of these big dudes. Like they're one and done. Like this is their job and that's all they can do. And there's no depth. There's no depth. No. And again, Boone with some of these decisions, like the not moving Rizzo, the not moving a Judge from the 3-hole, like that sends a message of like, I get you want to ride with your guy. He's a captain. I get it. Believe me, I understand. But this isn't just like, oh, we're just gonna test some things out. We're in the World fucking Series, man. Move Judge out the 3-hole. Move him. He's not producing. He's his approach up there, he looks lost. He looks scared. I mean, there were 2 moments, especially in the later half of this game, when maybe things could have turned into something. There was runners on first and second, maybe first or second. I don't remember the situation specifically. And you look at Judge on the TV about to go hit, and he looks terrified, just deer in headlights, like knowing that he's about to struggle again. And it's like, what are we doing, man? You need someone that can that's not gonna play defensively at this point because he's on a really bad streak. But you go into each at bat with a different mindset every time. It's going to be different. It's going to be different. Anyone who's played baseball should know that. If you're in a slump, you just got to think it's got to be different. It's a lot harder said than done. Believe me, I know. But you can't go up in key situations in the World Series and just look like you're about to cry. It just can't happen. And then, they start Trevino, a big change in the lineup. They've been running with Wells, but Wells is still looking really bad. I mean, so bad. Yeah, and I get the, Trevino 0 for 2 with a walk, right? Or, did he hit a walk? He struck out. Over 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Puts in Wells in the later game. I think it was like the 7th or 8th. And he just looked, nothing changed. Taking fastballs down the middle. He gets struck out, and I think the 8th or the 9th on a ball right down the middle. Right down the middle. Could not have asked for a better pitch. Right down the middle. And I'm sitting here going, man, like, we have Jason Dominguez on the bench. You got Jason Dominguez on the bench. Give him an at-bat at this point, because Wells, he's not going to do anything right now. He needs help. He needs to figure something out, because this ain't working. And you haven't given any of these guys a shot. So we can, I don't know, man. It's just like, I don't know. I don't think that at this point that the Dodgers are really exposing a lot of holes the Yankees have had all year, that these smaller teams that they've played up to this point were never going to be able to expose. But as a fan, and a lot of fans, watching them, who have watched them all year, who are watching them now, have known that these holes exist. We say, no, we can, fuck am I going to do about it? I'm over here. But, like, you can see these things. You can see the pitching struggles against weaker teams, which pitching struggles against weaker teams don't translate against good teams. It gets worse. So you knew that was coming. And then when your 2, 3, 4 guys, mostly your 2 and 3 guys, aren't hitting, the rest of the team kind of follows suit. We've seen that trend all year long. The 2, 3, 4 guys don't hit, the rest of the team doesn't hit. I mean, luckily Soto and Stanton have been doing all right. Stanton with 2 hits again tonight. But we're going to talk about that whole situation with the running and all that. But yeah, I'm confused. I'm at a loss. I think I'll sum up what I think at the end. But we're gonna run through this game, because it's very lackluster. Very lackluster. Nothing crazy happened. So we start with Clark Schmidt. Clark Schmidt does not have it. Last 2 1/3. Freddie Freeman, first inning, 2-run home run. So there's that. Immediately, right off the bat, it's gone. Then we got Mookie Betts singles. Okay, again, I love Juan Soto. I love Juan Soto to the moon and back. He's a great ball player. He's a generational ball player. He's going to be everything and more. We know that. But the dude is not a defensive player. I don't care what anyone says. This Gold Glove shit, I made a video about it a while back. To say that Juan Soto is a Gold Glove finalist is fucking laughable. It's fucking laughable. I'm sorry. It's laughable. There are too many balls that get hit in Juan Soto's direction, and I've not seen a dive. I've not seen a true sprint hustle to get it. There's no energy coming from him. And that's the other thing people are talking about. Like, is he going to want to come back and be Yankee? If this is what he's got to come back to, I don't think I'd want to come back either. You got the Dodgers who are saying that they're going to, if the Dodgers saying they're going to put a bid in for Juan Soto, you got a lot of guys putting in a bid for Juan Soto. It's going to be a tough offseason. But that's besides the point. The point I'm trying to make here is that he is awful defensively. At least been playing awful. I'm not going to say he's an awful defender, but as from what I've seen this year, this latter half of the year, he's not very good. Too many balls dropping that shouldn't be dropping. There was a pop-up between him and Rizzo that kind of fell in no man's land, that he's running over there, waiting for Rizzo to make an over-the-back catch when he could have just busted his ass a little bit earlier, got a better read on that ball, and come in and maybe made a sliding catch, maybe made it there in the air. I don't know, but just not good. And anyway, there was a ball hit between him. That's the ball I'm talking about. Mookie Betts scores Tommy Edman, 2 outs in the 3rd. It's not 3-0. And then in the 6th, they put together something else. Enrique Hernandez with another single ground ball. Lux scores. It's 4-0. Yeah, that's kind of how that went. That's all their runs. That's how lackluster this game was, and that's how they won the game, by playing literal baseball, not trying to hit a fucking mammo every time. They played baseball. Get a guy on, move him over, score him. Ground balls and sac flies, man. That's been the Dodgers' name of the game, which the Yankees cannot do at all. And again, I was kind of scrolling through and on Twitter and talking to different people, and they're like, "Oh, it was another close one," but it wasn't. It wasn't close. I know people are like, "Well, it was only 4-0, and then they scored it. They scored 2 at the bottom, but for what?" I knew when I actually. There were people watching in my living room. I just I'm not fucking watching this anymore. I walked to my bedroom and I was like, I'll put it on in there until I fall asleep, but I could give a fuck. about what happens. This game's over. Of course, fucking Verdugo hits a bomb and it scores 2 runs. But even then, I knew when I watched that home run, who cares? It doesn't matter because after this, nothing's going to happen. And I knew that because they knew that. The whole fucking stadium knew that. They lost 4-0. The 2 runs that's a consolation prize, I guess, to get 2 runs, but like they're so deflated that this game felt at 4-0 in the 6th, it felt like it was 15-0. And a team that you can tell that a team is struggling when they give off that persona when they're only down by like very much an achievable amount of runs by mind you. You can score that, 2 people on, a jack, 2 people on, a couple doubles. This game switches completely. But that seems so hard right now to get a hit, to get a guy on, to score him. It seems almost impossible for the Yankees right now. And rightfully so. We didn't get a hit. The Yankees didn't get a hit. I think till like the late half of the let me see this. I gotta see. I don't know when the Yankees got their first hit. Let's see this. I'm still scrolling. First hit came in the 4th inning. Granted, Walker Buehler threw a great game. He threw awesome. Kind of continued what he had going in against New York the last season or the last series. But again, hittable pitches. A lot of too many fastballs getting taken right down the middle, over and over and over. And I'm like, guys, what are we doing? Swing it. I don't know. Let's kind of look at this a little bit. So look at the pitching. So Walker Buehler, 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Great performance. Gratterall, 2/3, 1 hit, no runs. No runs given up except for Kopech, the 2 runs in the very end with the home run off Verdugo, but still came in and closed it. So they used Kopech, Brazier, Bonda. Bonda looked a little bit shaky in some points. Dan Hudson, Vesia, Gratterall, and Buehler. The Yankees with Schmidt, 2 2/3, 2 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, and 1 home run. Not good, as I've stated. Leiter Jr., 2/3, 1 hit, 1 walk. Cortez, 1 2/3. Great line. Why pull him? I have for fucking Cousins. I get maybe you're shell shocked, but he came in and he was dealing. That's the best I've seen Nestor in some time when they pull him for Cousins. Okay, Cousins, an inning, 1 hit, 1 run, 1 earned run, and a strikeout. Hill, another one, lights out with 1 walk, but still 2/3 good. Holmes, again, 1 hit, 1 strikeout, solid 2/3. Canely, 1 strikeout, not bad. And then Weaver came in for 2/3 in the 9th. It really started off because if you really look at the pitching lines, they give up 5 total hits. You take away Clark's, it's only 3. Take away Clark's 3 runs, it's only 1. And that was my thing. I thought going into the game, Clark Schmidt needed a leash this big. I mean, super small. Because anything after the first home run in the first inning, I would have had somebody up. I would have had Cortez up. I would have had Stroman up. I would have had somebody who can give me long innings because we couldn't let it get out of hand. And they let Clark go way too fucking long. He didn't have it in the first. He didn't have it in the second. And then they still rolled him out for the third. And I get trying to get length out of your starter. I get it. But he wasn't going to give it to you. It wasn't going to be him. I'm sorry. It wasn't going to be him. And that's kind of what happened. But again, pitching to pitching, they pitched better. Walker Buehler pitched better. It started from the get-go. And then looking at batters, Torres, 0 for 3. Soto, 0 for 3. Judge, 0 for 3. Stanton, 2 for 4. Hey. Jazz, 0 for 4. Volpe, 1 for 4. Rizzo, 1 for 3. Trevino, 0 for 2. Wells, 0 for 2. Verdugo, 1 for 3 with a home run with a jack. And here we go. Ohtani, 0 for 3. Betts, 1 for 4. Freeman, 1 for 3. Hernandez, 1 for 4. Like, not great over here either, but the big hits were needed. And that made the difference across the board was that. The big hitting, the timely hitting, the manufacturing of runs, that was the difference. And that was what I think they lacked on New York's side. All the way through, no questions asked. That's the difference. But yeah, guys, lackluster game. A game that was 4-2 in the end, was 4-0 for a while, but felt like it was 20-0. Yeah. That was last night. It was bad. It was very bad. But again, and I said it the other day, I say it again, this was a big game, bigger than 2, bigger than 1. This was the one that New York needed to win if they really, really wanted a shot to take this thing. Because 2-1's a lot different than 3-0. I'm sorry. 2-0, 2-1 is a lot different than 3-0. Now, the Dodgers are a game away from a sweep. It's going to be tonight, man. It's going to be interesting. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. That's all I can say. We got I'm not sure who's pitching for the Dodgers. If I'm making a guess, it's going to be a bullpen game, as most of their 4 game 4s have been. It's been bullpen games, which has not always worked out in their favor. So maybe the Yankees could get something going. Maybe they could put something, make something happen. Like, I don't know, but like at this point, honest to God, like this can't happen again. If this happens again, you might as well just give him the fucking trophy. It just can't happen again. If you're gonna do this, we might as well not even watch. Might as well not even show up, because it's gonna happen again. But yeah, guys, I think that the Yankees might have a shot today. Like I said before, it's going to be a bullpen game. If they really wanted to exhaust the bullpen, they should have done it last night, knowing that game 4 was going to be a bullpen game. But again, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I think the Yankees might get one tonight, maybe play the third. I don't know. You got Heel throwing tonight, which is another wild card. We don't know how that's going to go. He did okay against Cleveland. Did all right. But again, it's a different animal. It's the Dodgers. This isn't Cleveland. This isn't Kansas City. This isn't Baltimore. This isn't Toronto. It's the fucking Dodgers. So he did all right. Doesn't always cut it. Like, you have to be a game. So we're gonna see if Hill can bring it. But again, guys, thanks for listening. A short episode today, because there really wasn't a whole lot to discuss other than the fact the Yankees didn't play good ball, and the Dodgers hit and played good ball and pitched better. That's the name of the game. That's baseball, and that's what happened last night. And the morale in New York is just low. It's low. It's so low. Like I said, anyone watching the game, whether you were there or not, could feel that this 4-0 felt like it was a 10-0. It felt so far out of reach when it was 4 runs. But again, tonight's the deciding factor, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight is the day. Tonight is the game that's going to decide it all. Can the Yankees hold on? Can they extend it one more night? We're going to find out. But once again, guys, thanks for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok. Got lots of videos, got lots of shorts, breakout clips from here, breakout clips that I make on the outside, other stuff I'm talking about. So be sure to follow me on there. We got plenty of content flowing through. If you're on YouTube, if you're listening, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. If you think I'm an idiot, think I'm wrong, please let me know. I love to discuss, love to talk baseball. I try to get to everybody's comments. So if you comment, I'm going to get to you, I promise. And of course, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to podcasts, be sure to give us a like, rate it, follow us. Helps with the algorithm, helps for engagement. But yeah, guys, I appreciate you. And regardless of how tonight goes, we'll be back tomorrow for an episode to break it down and kind of recap. If that's the end of the year, it's the end of the year. If not, we can get one more night of baseball. At this point, I'm just hoping to get another night of baseball. That's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully the Yankees can, because I'm not ready to say goodbye to baseball until next year. So hopefully the Yankees can pull something out and we can get one more night. But it's going to be interesting. So if you're tuning in tonight, guys, be sure to watch it tonight, 8:08. Don't miss it, and we will catch you guys in the next one.